I've seen a lot of very sensible sounding predictions for E3 in the last few weeks, but for obvious reasons nobody is saying much about Nintendo other than for Smash Bros. You can't predict Nintendo, everyone knows that, but there are some things that seem more likely than others. They've had a very quiet first half of the year, and that's obviously because they threw everything into making last year super special and because, well, it's the first half of the year. But it's still very hard to imagine they've got that much planned for the second half other than Smash. For them to just pull something out of the bag in 6 months is not how Nintendo usually operates, especially if it's a new IP or something they have to explain. Consider how long ago we found out about Labo. Their problem is the Switch has been more successful than expected and they need big-name games for it, but they don't want to rush everything because, I assume, they realized that it was the quality of everything last year that made it really special. So they need something high quality, a guaranteed hit, but that they can make relatively quickly. It's got to be Breath of the Wild 2, hasn't it? Majora's Mask was famously made in not much more than a year, using Ocarina of Time as its base, so I would expect Nintendo to make a new Zelda in a similar way using Breath of the Wild. And before anyone groans, I'd think about how different Majora's Mask was in terms of tone and design to the first one. I'd love to see a Breath of the Wild that took on more horror elements and had a much more personal, emotional story. Improve the bosses, expand the dungeons, divine beasts, and tell a completely different non-canon story, and you've got the perfect follow-up as far as I'm concerned. If we don't hear about it by at least next year, I'll be very surprised.